It was December 1941. America had just entered World War II after the Pearl Harbor attack. Immediately the day after, the Japanese invaded Guam. Americans were evacuated, with some being captured or killed. A man named George Tweed was the only U.S. Navy man to evade the capture and execution. At the same time, Father Jesus Baza Duenas wanted to resist the Japanese with the help of Inalahan men, but decided against it. Duenas was one of two Catholic priests left on the island besides Father Oscar El Cavo. They decided to split responsibilities of the island between them. Duenas decided to take care of the southern part of Guam, in the village of Inalahan, while Calvo took care of the north. Eventually, Duenas would meet with two other Japanese priests sent by the Japanese government. During his time, Duenas would stand up for any injustices that had presented itself, such as the mistreatment of his fellow Chamorros. Voiced his complaints to the Japanese officials about the mistreatment and abuse of Chamorros. He became a problem to the Japanese quickly, as he whistled American tunes and read American magazines in public. He also spread the news of the Japanese defeat in the neighboring island of Saipan. A fellow priest named Fukuhori began to speak about Duenas to a congregation while he was absent. Duenas didn't like this and decided to write a letter in protest to Fukuhori. Fukuhori threatened to show this letter to the officials, which could result in Duenas being exiled to Saipan or rolled up. Luckily, before any of that could happen, Calvo previously befriended the Japanese man and persuaded him to keep the letter to himself, effectively saving Duenas. Meanwhile, Tweed, the American Navy man from earlier, had been receiving help from the local Chamorros, including Duenas himself. Many other Chamorros confided in Duenas about Tweed's whereabouts and things such as that. 3 years have passed since the Japanese invasion. For 3 years, Duenas has watched over the island, assisted fellow Chamorros in Tweed, and rebelled against the Japanese. On July 8, 1944, 13 days before the U.S. would come and liberate Guam, Duenas was arrested in Inalahan by the Japanese because they were suspicious about his knowledge on Tweed. He and his nephew, Edward Duenas, were interrogated for information on Tweed. No matter how painful the interrogation was, Duenas remained silent. They were then sent to Aganya Heights, the headquarters of Kimpaita, also known as the Japanese military police. Whilst they were there, a man named Joaquin suggested for them to escape whilst the guards slept. Duenas refused, stating he knows that he had done no wrong and that God will watch over him. Another reason for his refusal is the possibility that due to them escaping, the families of the escapees would be punished instead of them. 4 days later, they were sent to Manila. Duenas and his nephew, along with two other Chamorro men, were guided to the field station of the Japanese Agricultural Unit. For rebellion against the Japanese and assisting American escapee George Tweed, Duenas was executed along with his nephew and two other men, only 9 days before the U.S. liberated Guam. Duenas was considered a war hero for helping Tweed and giving the Chamorro people hope.